Preview. Preview.
Right.
Okay. So, since 2003,
Right.
you've done this for so long.
2003, GIJ, right? So I went to GIJ in 2003. I finished in 2007. Yeah, but my first opportunity came in 2008 and 9. Yeah.
Okay. So, with your journey as a presenter,
Right.
how do you handle difficult and uncooperative guests?
Uncooperative guys. I'm a difficult person, so I kind of like walk in their shoes, you know. So like this morning, you know, she sent me a message. I knew exactly who she was, but I told her I didn't know her. Yeah, I told her, and she said, "Okay, thank you." I was like, "Oh, this girl." I said, "No, thank you," and then I was communicating with Nanajiman. It was a moment I was teaching you something, so you should have called me.
No, I went to him to
No.
check if the
So right now I'm
number he
interviewing
gave
you, so I haven't asked you a question. Yes. So you could have called me and then I would decline the call or maybe pick up and then you send me, you follow up with a message. Even in friendship, right? A call is like a 10. A text is like 8, you know, and then maybe a thank you note is even maybe like 9, right?
Okay.
And then you're texting me for the first time, you're sending me a text as if you and I are WhatsApp buddy. Please, do you know me? No, I knew exactly, and I knew I would talk about this when I got here. You know, like I'll talk about this when I got here. So it happens. I sent a message to MPs who would read and not respond. I'll call them first of all. I always call first. So I'll call, they won't respond. Then I'll text, they will not respond. I mean, I know this MP for Takoradi Kwabna. I know him personally. I've called him, he didn't pick up because I wanted to interview him. I sent him a text, he didn't, so, you know, I let it go. And yeah, and I'll keep pressing, you know, you just keep pursuing. But at some point, you just need to let go. I mean, I did one, called him once, texted him. Another thing, when you're interviewing guests, right, you win your guest over with your mind. Be over-prepared. There are 2 people that I want to interview. I've been studying on them for like 1 year. The day they will sit across me, they will finish the interview, shake my hand and say, I'll come back, you know. It happens. You know, when you haven't interviewed someone, they think that they are big shots, right? They're a bit hesitant to allow somebody. And also, I've realized that people are naturally hesitant to set across women to be interviewed. Women are more detailed, we research a lot, you know, because, you know, people are judging you, right? And that's why I try not to put so much work in my looks. So when I come and I'm like this, I can ask good questions, you know, and go away. But because, you know, you'll be judged. So you over-prepare for the person. So that when you get the person an opportunity, and always be honest. When you don't know something, you don't know. You're interviewing somebody is giving you, like, I think the most difficult interview I've actually done is Black Sheriff. And it's difficult because he gives very, very short answers. You know, like, yeah, how are you? Oh, yeah, fine. Well, question and answer. I had about 100 questions, you know. So what happens, you know, like you have a lot of, unlike when you ask me what question, I can talk for 15 minutes. When you ask me one question, you talk 10 seconds, it's done.
I watched that interview.
Yeah. You know, oh, my mother said this, it's done. Okay, so do you like what you are doing? Oh, yes. And you will get that. But when you're well researched and over prepared, you always find a follow-up questions and read more about your guests, because they are going to be, you know, more about your guests. They're going to be aggressive, anti, and because of my opinion, I know, because of my opinion and my views on politics, I know I'm going to get that, you know, especially with the party that thinks that, you know, I'm not for them. So I know I'll get that, especially and with their guests. So they are coming aggressive. I'm aware. So you mentally prepare for it, for anything that would happen. Yeah.
Okay. So my last question before I take the audience question.
Right.
If you were president for a day, what would Ghanaians expect? What should Ghanaians expect from you as Bridget, President Bridget Otoo?
Oh, this is the easiest question. I will abolish e-levy. Yes, so.
Okay, so talking about e-levy,
right.
that's the point.
Right.
Do you think it's good on the average Ghanaians? Like, is it good? Should we
Oh,
accept
no,
it? Even though
they've passed it. There's nothing we can do about it, but it's a horrible and terrible, you know, tax that we don't need. Government just doesn't, they are to their wits end. They don't know where to look for money. So they are saying that, you know, if I pay, so this week I paid, you know, my cleaner. So I've paid on WhatsApp. Now, sorry, on Momo. Yes, now I have to add the charge and add her charge so that she can cash out and get her full pay, right? But now she has to pay more. You know, How is that anything? Because she's already paying, right? And it's unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate that they've done it, but NDC says if they win, they will abolish it. So we'll see what happens. If
Should we vote for them to win?
oh, why not? If they say they will abolish it, they are saying it. Why not? You know.
Okay. Alright, you're still listening to Afro.
Let's clap for Ruth. Ah.
You're still listening to the Orange Couch on Afronova TV. You can stream live www.afronovaradio.com. You can also watch us live on Facebook at Amatedi Center for Creative Writing, on Instagram, on Twitter at Afronova Radio. It's time for questions with the audience in the studio. So if you have any question, kindly raise your hand. You asked, our guest is going to answer for you. Okay, so I see a hand at the back. Please ask your question.
Hi, your name? I'm Chelsea. Chelsea. Oh. I'm Chelsea too. Right. 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 Resources to investigative journalism. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, during the Anas expose,
right.
when it happened, were you happy personally? Were you
Anas, which one? For which one? He's done so many.
Oh, okay.
Which one? Like all in general. Oh, I absolutely love his expose, and I've interviewed a statesman. It's not yet out. I think the interview will be out in 2 weeks, and he held a different view, right? That about the investigations, because he thinks that it's not an authentic investigation, because if you show the investigation, right, undercover work, and you show it to certain people before it is viewed by the public, meanwhile the public are your number one audience, right, then you are not really authentic. There's an agenda or motive as to why you're pursuing that, and maybe you're after certain people. I had never thought about it like that, but it's kind of opened my mind to it that he has a point. But naturally, from the very first investigation, from the what's called the pot issues, to number 9, which I tweeted a lot about. I love his work because we don't get to do so many of them, and that's why I still appreciate it, because he has to fund himself. Now the partner is the BBC to do BBC Africa Eye, and so he gets to do a lot more of that. But if we had a lot more like him, we would be far gone, with the investigation. I mean, look at somebody who was caught on camera taking the money. He was cleared and discharged, So, yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't fault him so much. Even though I respect the statesman, views, and it makes sense, right? I still appreciate the fact that under the circumstance, regardless of the resources that aren't available, he still does it for us. All right.
Miss Akoli, use your question.
Miss Aquile and Akoko. Where's Akoko? Are you a boy? Hi. Ah, okay. All right, go ahead.
Miss Bridget, please, I want to talk about media bias.
Right.
The media has been biased across the world. Ghana exhibits these biases evidently. You work with Metro TV, which belongs to the Just group of companies and allied to the current government. How does the ownership affect your presentation in terms of media bias?
I think it's a good question. It's a good question. I was going to ask you what you mean by media bias, and then you took that out of my mouth by using my station as an example, right? I'm also seen as biased, pro opposition, correct? But I still work at Metro TV. So how does that work? I agree. Media ownership in this country is one of the biggest headaches we have, right? Because you will be working at a station, right? And somebody will tell you that they don't like you. It happened to me in 2015, 16, before the 2016 elections. I was called into an office and they told me to go off NPP, not to talk. Can I not mention NPP? And at the time, remember, they were in opposition. But because the management, and this one, it wasn't even ownership, but because the management had a certain bias towards them, they spoke to me and said to me, I said, am I telling lies, first of all? Am I saying anything that is not factual, right? And then they took a decision and they took me off. and it made some people happy, right? And so media ownership is terrible. And that's why, recently when I heard that Johnny Hughes was going through that, I publicly supported him because I've been in his shoes before and I know what can happen when things like that happen. Now he is seen as, because he's speaking against the government, or not that he's speaking against the government. Here is the thing. When you are in opposition, you would think that, everyone is for you. And when you're in government, you would think everyone is against you. And that's what happened. So once you know that, look, we have a stake in this station, right? Oh, you can call and say, if you don't, so maybe we won't pass your contract, you'll get this person. And I have experience. I'm sure you all saw the stories that came out of when I joined Metro TV and my first day and all of that. Hey, but trust me, those things I don't think about. Those things actually kind of give me confidence. It makes me feel like, hey, small girl, you don't know that. Because I'll be thinking, hey, I must be important for people to worry about me. But but it's wrong. It shouldn't happen. Stations must be able to function irrespective. Does my bias in any way affect the content I'm delivering? The fact that I am pro-government or opposition doesn't mean that when I read the news or there's an anado in it, or I'm not going to mention it or say it, or I will not interview them. That's not what it is. If it's like that, then it becomes a problem. Yes, but personally, I actually don't have a problem with people being biased. I feel like they're even more honest than people who are not, who pretend to be in the middle. How many of you saw that Kojo Opon was NPP when he was presenting? He did a good job at hiding it, right? So in that case, you can eat from everywhere. I'm not saying that's what he did, but I'm just trying to make the point that, I think that, when people actually show you who they are, believe them. And I think, was it Maya Angelou who said that? When people show you who they are, believe them. At least you know that this person. So what do? You probably listen critically and say, and then interrogate it. Does it speak to the facts? I mean, there are people who are biased for being biased. In other words, even when it's like this, no. I mean, I personally, I'm not against, like LGBTQI, maybe I have a problem with the trans issue. But it doesn't mean that because they put battery somewhere that, you're an automatic way, whatever they say, you go with them, they say left, then you go left. No, you should have a mind of your own. But it takes a lot of, character of the owners to allow you to function. That's why I like how City TV and City Radio functions. Everybody knows Sam Menzies, the NPP, he said it himself. He's a card-bearing member, it's his party, but the station has been able to function beyond that. And it's one of those stations that you cannot go there and say you want to take somebody off because, or Bernard off, Bernard will argue with Sam Menzies, through and through, and do his job, regardless of whoever is behind him. We need more of that. So you can still have a media owner who is tilted. And with Metro TV, I haven't seen anybody come there and say, don't say it. Nobody has ever called me since after my initial storm, that happened. Nobody has called to say, don't say this, don't do this. Do I think about it? Yes. Am I careful? Yes. I'm telling you, if I wasn't there, maybe I'll be a little bit more rowdy than I am now, But it just makes you a little conscious. But, abroad, it's the same thing. CNN has a certain bias. And nobody wants to talk about Fox News. And yes, Fox News is holding America by the balls. People watch it. Why? They know they are biased. People put money there to watch. But it's the opposite in Ghana. The most watched shows don't even get the most money. But in America, the most watched shows get the most money, right? So maybe we can educate ourselves. And I think this morning I posted something and I read the comments and the lesson. But if you are biased, how do you want people to not insult you? Now, being biased doesn't mean you have to insult somebody. You can disagree with my opinion and share yours. But you don't have to like my opinion. I don't have to like yours. But we have to exist. So from us, we do our part. And the management and the ownership also needs to think. And the government of the day or past government needs to also take themselves out. Be out of they are so in their feelings, Because if you are not in your feelings, why would you use a station as a bargaining chip, to manipulate or hold anybody, right?
Okay. Please.
I'm reporting from Shoot Your Shots Media.
Hey.
Are you married? And if not, how does the application process?
Hey. Yes, I'm married.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, stop working for Shoot Your Shots Media.
What's your name?
Henry.
Henry. All right, Henry.
Faculty here, but
Oh, okay, Henry. All right, then, Henry.
Okay, please your question, Henry.
Okay, quickly, I have two questions. The first question has to do with the ANAS
Ghanaians like please, oh, please, please go ahead. Please, what is...
You like investigative
Right, I do.
journalism.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask the question before I start with the question.
Right.
How would you feel if I coerced you into doing something I want to be done my way? How would you feel?
How do you, when you say coerce? I mean,
I pressure you to do something you don't want.
like in what way? Because I don't see that happening with me. So you are using me as an example.
Yeah.
So give a good example.
I'm actually giving you money to, unless I'm bribing you to get
Oh,
my
I like.
you will do that.
No, not really. It has to. First of all, I have to believe in the project. So here's the thing. That's why I don't do paid posts. I see that all the time. Bridget, we want to pay you to do this. I shudder. I shudder because I don't want my name to be associated with any scam. I mean, I think about Men's Gold, you know, and the things I've said about Nana Apia Mensah. I'm still inviting you to come, so I want to interview you, okay? and it's attending issues. People made offers, we want you. Even at the height of Men's Gold, when I was bashing them on Twitter, somebody approached me from Men's Gold that they wanted me to be their PR, because they want to give you money. So with me and this job, money is not the determinant in whether I pursue. It has to be something that I believe in. It has to be something that is of interest to me. And I genuinely must believe in it to push. So that's why I don't do any of that. Because I don't know what would happen. Maybe it has to be a company that has existed for maybe 100 years. And I know that, it's not new money. I'm afraid of new money. New money is, you are there, and then somebody will show up. Everybody is retweeting them, tagging them, doing ambassador for them. You know how the celebrities go, woo, like once in a problem coming, woo, they are away. They don't make a decision based on principles or their integrity. They make a decision based on their stomach and where it is headed, right? And because the system itself is tough, it's so easy to after all, it's just small money. What have you? You haven't killed anybody, right? You just, I haven't killed anybody. But I keep saying, a person, anybody who was the ambassador, part of the men's, it's part of, if anybody has died, and those who have died as a result of each of them is responsible for their death. Because they should have asked questions. They should have known that it was a scam right from the onset. So, personally, no, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. Your second question.
I don't actually appreciate an answer.
Right. Okay.
I think if you go to anybody with money and you are actually force them, take this money, I'm actually giving you this because I want you to get my will done, the person will take it consciously or unconsciously.
Okay.
So I don't appreciate an answer. I think it's actually framing everybody.
Okay.
So,
but BBC also sponsors him to do that. So do you appreciate his work with the BBC?
I think people are supporting what they shouldn't support, because to me, if I give you money, you get my will done.
So is it on camera? What do you mean? Like, I can give you money on camera. So when he gives people money on camera?
Yes.
So, for instance, that thing, you will never get me. If you are not corrupt, you're not corrupt. I'm telling you. If you're not corrupt, you're not corrupt. And if I have to ask you to come to me, please do electronic transfer, Anna, or Momo 8. If you have to come to me, it shows just how greedy people are. That it doesn't matter who is there, they will take it. But you saw our president grabbing it with both hands. So if you have to, if you're not shy, right, and you can do it on camera, then it means it's really about your integrity. Because you won't get me in that situation. I get it. And I told you, I respect the statesman's view on him, that he thinks that there are issues with it. I had never thought about it like that. But I appreciate the fact that he puts his life on the line, right? And anybody, right, who has an iota of small corrupt in them will only come to light anyway, right? You take a goat. Goat. Yeah. Punching. Hey. Hey, now my TV. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
We have a problem with the choice part of the whole.
Yes, yeah.
And of course, I am one.
You're a pro.
Proud one.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Right, yeah. What
exactly?
My reasons.
Yeah.
I don't believe. No. I see. So you can be trans, right? You can be no. So let me tell you. So you can be trans, right? But I don't believe that you are me and I'm you. That today, right? We will have you swim with the women. That you come to the women's washroom and come and stand there and do this with us. That's my issue with it. I'm saying you can be trans, right? Be yourself. Do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. But I don't believe that. I mean, look at what happened with the swimming just last month, right? And I've forgotten his name. A man says that now he's a woman. When he was a man, he was 400th in the world, right? when he became a woman, he's now #1 in the world. Because biologically, you know, there are things that we are running with our breasts and our butt bum. It weighs us down. That's why our time is always low, lower, slower than the men. But then you're saying, so Dave Chappelle, one of my favorite, one of the most intelligent comedians I know in the world, said something that LeBron James, right? He's one of the biggest basketball names in the world. So if today he says he's trans and he identifies as a woman, are we going to put him in the WNBA? Then he will score 1,000. That's just my issue, right? I don't mind. I don't care. You can be gay, bi, lesbian, trans. No. But I'm saying we cannot have them. They can create a category for trans, and I would wholeheartedly support. But you can't, you know, but now they are in the women. Did you see the photo they took? The women were here. They didn't want to take it because they felt like he or she had taken their spot. So that's my only issue. Media and mini problem. And I've had people on Twitter unfollow me because of that. There was a guy, he was my friend, cool, you know. And I'm sure when he sees it, he will know I'm talking about him. You know, and we were cool. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen this guy's tweet, because he's a very sensible guy. So I checked and I realized that I was not following, he wasn't following. What it means is that, no, it means he blocked and unblocked me so that we don't follow each other. So I went to his private mail and I said, I just realized that you're not following me. And I said, it means that you are blocked. And I was like, why I do something? Otoo, it was your views on trans. And I'm sure you've not changed. I said, trust me, no, I haven't changed my view. So let's keep things the way they are. At least I know why he unfollowed me. I have no regrets, and I'll still stand by it. I don't think that a man is a woman is a man. So that's the only thing I have with it, you know. And I have the issue of, you know, where kids are being groomed and socialized to think that, you know, when I was 5, I told my mom I was a boy. Do you know, if my mom, hey, imagine if I was born in America, my mom changed my sex. Right now, I'll be cursing, you know. And you're saying that kids 5 years can know by that age that they are boys or girls. And so you go and change their sex psychologically. I mean, imagine, my mom said, maybe she thought I would be Adebayo because I like football at the time. Right? Then with this breast, how am I going to confuse? Can you see Adebayo? So those are my only issues. You can be anything you want, but they should have categories for them. Yeah.
Okay, please, any other question? Okay.
Hi, darling.
My name is Selassie.
Hi, Selassie.
My question is centered on agenda setting.
Right.
So on Monday, you posted something on your Facebook saying, I might paraphrase.
Right, sure.
You said, new week, what would you want to see on the news?
On the news, yeah.
Yeah, so with this, I want to find out, as an anchor, a media person,
Right.
How does that setting of agenda by the media tend to influence the audience?
Oh, always. You know, people believe what they see on TV, radio, and everything else. And it's why the blogs are getting away with a lot of lies, you know? And so when I'm there and somebody sends me, you know, screenshots from a blog and says, oh, I've seen this and read about you, I will warn you and say, don't ever send me anything. I'm on all the platforms. I see everything that's happening. It's not for you to send to me. So the blogs are able to do that and get away with it. But I'm sure with a lot more lawsuits, I hope that, you know, it goes down. But yes, Joy does that. You know, a week they will just be playing maybe free SHS videos. They just want to bring people's minds to it, and then people will comment on it. When I, for instance, posted that, I wanted to see what are the biggest stories in the communities, what's happening in the communities. And I could just tell my editor that, oh, maybe something is happening here, and if we can follow it, and then we pursue it. You know, interestingly, people really like politics. People love politics. Right now, let me just tweet something on Facebook. You see 500 insults. I will post 2 things on my Facebook right now. One will be that, we want to raise funds to support this girl who has been raped by this. I'll get maybe 20 comments. And let me post right now that digital economist right now. I'll get 400 comments, you know. People love politics. And it's the thing that drives, you know, a lot of traffic to these. And they don't like it because it's fun. They like it because they are incensed, they are angry. And they want their anger to show in the way they talk. They are angry maybe because there are no jobs. They are angry because they see how affluent or how wealthy, you know, our politicians are getting by the day, and how poorer they are becoming. So the anger that is expressed is kind of normal, and so we feed on that and use it. For instance, last week, for instance, I set 2 agenda, I believe, on my page. One was with the e-levy. The guy says that, oh, I've arrived in this country. Sorry, I came from Kumasi, and I'm teaching people how to evade the e-levy. I knew when I posted, I knew people would I mean, I told them that let me just post it. And then the second one who said, if your company is in this, told the president, question the president that if your company is in distress, will you be flying a private jet? And it's a question that a lot of people are thinking about. And that's exactly the kind of thing that we got here. But so there are positive agenda, and then there is a playful one, which is on Twitter. You know, we just says agenda, just tweet something stupid and silly. Look, having fun is part of this job. If I don't have fun, I don't think I'll keep my sanity because there's so much, you know, seriousness going on that having fun is part of it. Right.
Okay.
Last question.
Okay, 2 more.
Oh, sure.
Your question.
Okay. Hi. I'll take the lady, sorry. Hi, Ella.
I wanted to ask, gatekeeping is actually
Gender equality.
Biased, gender biased.
is when the media controls the type of news content consumed by the consumer.
Right.
So, as a media personality or a news anchor, have you ever faced, has gatekeeping affected you in a story you wanted to cover?
I don't think I quite got the question. If you can come in.
As
We're
gatekeeping,
gatekeepers, yes. Has there been?
has there been a situation whereby gatekeeping has affected a story you once wanted to cover?
Oh, no, honestly, that it all depends on the editor. An editor would assign you on what story to follow. And, you know, we're doing a project, unfortunately I can't share everything, but we're doing a project where we were struggling to get certain people, right, to be part of the project. And they thought that it's because the anchor is seen a certain light. So now what they did was to recruit someone who is aligned with these people, who will be comfortable with them, to be part of it, so that that person can engage them and they'll be more comfortable and say, oh, at least there's somebody representing us. So then they would come. And when we did that, you know, it's working because so far things are moving and we've not had any issues with it. So it can happen. There are stations that would insist. I know people, for instance, who have said that, look, I don't want this person to interview me. I don't want to speak to this person. I never want to be on this person's show. But a station can insist and say that this is the person that's available. This is the person that's going to do the job. And so you get it. But there have been several opportunities or occasions where you couldn't really gatekeep because maybe you need the person. And so you just reduce it a bit, relax it a bit, and let the person have their way. But then you still get the opportunity to ask either questions or even when they are ahead, people are not stupid. You know, you can put somebody on, people are not stupid. They can see through the person's, you know, I'm trying to look for a nice word because the word in my head is not a good word. I know the word in my words are always bad words. You know, so the person can have, you know, their way. Yeah. Is your question answered? Okay. Last one, okay, so now to the man of the house, and we are done, yes. Okay, yeah, 11:30.
I want to know what really entices hosts to be sycophants when it comes to the big shots. When
you say sycophants, it's sycophants. And when you say sycophants, what do you mean by they are sycophants? Like because what? So give me an example of a sycophant you know in the media.
Or you want me to mention it?
Yes, I want to know. What do you mean by sycophants? Because
Hey, you still want me to mention?
I want to know, like, how is he a sycophant?
Yes,
he's one of the most
one
of the most brilliant individuals in this
you,
country.
You asked me to.
Yeah, go ahead. So go ahead. Yeah.
So now, when Kufuor was around, asking questions which supposed to be top-notch questions, he was being somehow sugarcoating it.
He interviewed Kufuor. Okay. And you felt like he wasn't hard on Kufuor.
Exactly.
Do you think that if I interviewed John Mahama, I'll be hard on him?
I don't know.
Exactly. Here is the thing. So, and did you see Otoo, the agric minister, what's his name? Dr. Otoo Free. Did you see his interview on Peace FM? And did you listen to his interview on City? There were two different interviews. Look, giving somebody an opportunity to tell their story, whether they are biased towards the person, does not make them a sycophant at all. Kojo Oppong is one of the most brilliant journalists this country has produced, right? Absolutely, absolutely. I may disagree with his ideologies, but he's somebody I respect. Here is the thing: you don't have to disrespect people you disagree with. You may disagree with my opinion. You may not like me because of somebody I like. That's okay. But you don't have to disrespect. I'm telling you, I would interview Kojo any day, I would rate him. He's a senior journalist I have so much respect for, and what he's achieved, both as a journalist and as a politician. And it doesn't make you, it simply means that you allow the person to tell their story, right? You may not be hard on them in terms of, demanding answers. Like the way the president met Okoche and, didn't know, like saying that the president called his questions provocative. Why are you asking us provocative question? Because maybe on another platform, you say, oh, Mr. President, what a wonderful response, But it doesn't make them that. It's just simply mean that maybe we have soft spot for certain people. You will ask the questions, but you will not be as hard as when you're interviewing somebody else. And everybody has their biases. Even judges do. Right now they call them 7-0. Now they say 5-2. So it's okay. So just be open to it that you will have friends that you disagree with. Respect their opinion. Look, having people like me, if people they start tweeting at me and texting saying that we like, oh my God, something is going to happen to me. That's something bad. No, people must disagree with you, because it's only in disagreements you would really know what's in people's heads and learn a lot from them. What are you learning from people who are just like you? Really, what are you learning? But you learn a lot from the character of somebody who is not like you. All right.
Okay, so
Right.
this is the end of the show. Thank you very much for answering our invitation.
Right.
We're so grateful.
Thank you for having.
The Orange Culture is on every Wednesday, 2